everybody, and welcome to episode 40 of Nostalgia Bait. I am joined, as always, by Cooper Britton, but he's come today. He's come today dressed as Ahsoka's number one fan.
For the occasion.
You are dressed for the occasion.
This episode's been built up for a long time, and it could not be as good as we think.
It could be complete dog shit, but this is a celebratory episode. Whenever we get to a little 10-episode milestone, I feel like we do something at least a little bit special. And last time,
that's true. I think it's kind of crazy. I think we haven't actually we've had this in the diary for so long that we didn't actually think about doing a proper special episode. Like,
no, but I think this is special. This is special.
No, I'm saying that, but this has been if you think we did the commentary episode for episode 30.
Yeah.
Which seems like yesterday that we did that.
We did do the Marvel Phase 2 review for episode 20.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's not really.
But then 40 is like midlife crisis range, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess it's like 40. We're getting into the nitty gritty. We're in the 40s now in terms of episode numbers. We've absolutely blown Spill Your Beans out of its little tiny hole and powered through. Today we are talking about an episode that we have been building up for so fucking long. Since probably I think episode 2 of the podcast. Yeah, we are both massive Star Wars fans. Like, we are huge Star Wars fans. That is not like anything we've understated. We've watched a lot of the media, we consume a lot of it, and we love a lot of it. But one thing that we've always alluded to is our very opposing opinions of the Ahsoka TV show. Cooper is a massive Ahsoka fan, and you've also you've always loved the character, and you were buzzing about the series, and you loved the series. And I have been an Ahsoka fan for less amount of time, but I was still very excited for the series. But I found it to be a bit disappointing, and I think that's something we're going to dive in today. We've missed loads of mentions, loads of references to Ahsoka,
loads of slide digs
here and there. And so we've always talked about that we'd eventually get to this episode and talk about Ahsoka.
If you are new to Nostalgia Bit, or you've joined us in like the last couple of episodes, it's a good point to know that the founding father of this podcast is the Ahsoka debate. This is where the podcast starts.
Isn't it? Yes. Oh my word. Yeah.
We were having a debate about the Ahsoka TV show, and I and then it was like this is podcast. Like, how have we not done a podcast before?
Yeah.
And that's literally where it starts.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm so excited to delve into it because I feel like there's so much to be said about it, and I have my opinions on it. And to be honest, it's been so long for me that I don't care too much, and I like certain elements, and I like to focus on the positive elements. But I love going into this. I love going into this with very little notes and just talking about this show. Just because we have had so much time to build up to this and think about it, and all these Star Wars episodes that we've done in the past. With Nostalgia Bit, I feel like this is our time now to really get into the nitty gritty of Ahsoka. Yeah. So,
how are you wanting to go about this? Are you wanting to?
I don't know, man. I'm happy to just sit and have a conversation.
Are we both just going to have a conversation about it, or do you want to do like you are against it, I'm for it, and there's no in between?
I am happy to be against it, but I do like elements of it. So it's hard to be fully against it. Yeah.
As a massive Ahsoka fan, I love the TV show. There are parts of it that I don't really like. Like, there's a few bits in it where I'm like, could have been done better. Could have. Yeah. So I'm happy to just have a general discussion and stuff about it. First thing I want to do, though, is I'm going to take this hat off because it is hurting my head with my headphones on.
It's a bucket hat, but you look like you're wearing like a top hat or like a bowler hat or something.
It's the bucket hat I bought from Star Celebration.
Yeah. It just looks. Star Celebration. Yeah. It's a bucket hat, but it looks. Oh my god.
It's a cool bucket hat.
Keep it on. That's funny. Yeah. For me, Ahsoka, the problem I have with it is that it is, for the most part, I find it to be very boring.
Okay. That's a bold statement off the rip.
I don't think that's bold at all.
You built that up. You built that up to be like it wasn't going to be too bad. And you went straight with boring. I thought you were going to go, you know what? For the most part, I thought it wasn't too bad.
I have my stance, bitch. Like, I know where I am. I know what I'm saying. This is like, for me, be, so. Yeah. This is what it's going to be. For me, I found it boring. I thought that the overall story and where they go from point A to point B, what is the beginning of the series, what is the end of the series, I don't feel as if there was a proper, arc, I guess. I get where they're trying to end up, and I love where they end up. However, I feel like I would have enjoyed the journey getting from A to B if it was slightly different. That's my problem.
I think it's hard because it's a rough point to end on. You very much end on
the exciting bit.
I think it's, it's no. I think it's hard. It's such a hard point to end on because
I have to really hold myself back to not be like.
It's a hard one to end on because it's very much like
like
the ending of the series is the good guys have lost.
Sure,
that's the be all end all of it, and it does feel a little bit cheap. The ending, I'll admit, it is a little bit like.
I don't think that's down to that.
The
good guys and the good guys losing is absolutely fine because it worked
but that's the
really
thing,
well in Empire
like
Strikes Back, right? It's not about that. It's that.
It feels so much like a setup series, but it's not a setup series because it's technically like a 5th season of a franchise, but also it's like the 4th in this Dave Filoni verse. Like, it's weird. And especially having we had no... I think it might have been different if we'd had confirmation of what was coming next, but it ends with the good guys losing.
That's true.
It's like Infinity War ends with the good guys losing. Amazing ending. But the issue is you end with the good guys losing, but have nothing lined up. Still to this day, we do not know what comes next.
And it's been almost like 2 years. No?
Is it Mando and Grogu? Is it Ahsoka Season 2? Are we going straight into the Dave Filoni movie? Like, it's a weird... Because we had this conversation. It's like... It's a strange ending because at the time of it coming out, all we knew was that the Dave Filoni was going to be a movie. So it was like, we're going to be getting a Filoni movie, so that's obviously going to follow straight on. But then there's so many other things that set up at the end of the TV show that it's like, we can't just go straight into a Filoni movie because it makes no sense, because then half of the Filoni movie will be Ahsoka and Sabine getting out of this galaxy.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, do you not
just a refresher of halfway through Ahsoka.
But you're making the point that I feel like I should be making, because you're trying to say it's good, but that...
No, I'm not. I'm saying, there's parts of the show that I like, but there's also parts where I like the ending, don't get me wrong. I love that Ezra gets back, and I love that dynamic of he's back. I love that they switch positions. I think it's it's quite a nice thing to have them switch positions, but it feels like it leaves so many questions, especially with not having... It's like, Infinity was a great ending, but you knew that Endgame was coming next year. Like,
you're doing my job for me here. This is exactly my problem with the series, though. I think that it's...
But that's my problem with the ending. That's not my problem with the whole series.
Well, that's the thing, though. But I think the series is boring. And I feel that the most interesting bit happens at the end. And even that is flawed. And I have I enjoy where the final episode ends us. But even the final episode, in terms of what they do, feels very, bland in comparison to what we could have had. And that's my issue. We've both watched Rebels. We both know how great of a presence Grand Admiral Thrawn is. I don't feel like he had anywhere near the presence in this series that he could have had.
See, I think he did. I think there was bro had aura. Like, come on.
He had aura, but he didn't have the fucking aura he had in Rebels.
Yeah.
He
But again, I guess.
This is what I'm
saying.
Then
I guess it's like it's hard, isn't it? It's like, he doesn't have the aura, but at the same time, it's not the scale that it was in Rebels. Like, I think if we go into a second season, it would be because he's in the actual galaxy with a fleet. My issue, and again, it's like, I think one of the reasons why I think Grand Admiral Thrawn has the aura. One of the things that lets him down, which I think you will agree with me, is the Stormtroopers. The zombie Stormtroopers were done horrifically.
Okay, we can get into that all you want, because that's one of my things, pet peeve I hate about it. But that's a whole other thing. I mean,
Stormtroopers.
Fuck it, let's talk about it. Gloves off. Let's fucking go. This is what I'm saying, right? The whole thing with the Disney Star Wars thing, I'm not one of those guys, right? I enjoy the sequel trilogy. Not a big fan of Rise of Skywalker, but I really do enjoy the sequels. I love The Last Jedi. I loved Acolyte. I partially enjoyed Boba Fett, and I do like the majority of The Mandalorian. My problem with Disney Star Wars, though, is the lightsabers.
I 100% agree with you.
Why the fuck have we downgraded lightsabers to being these sort of boring weapons? They're great to fight with in combat, and in that sense, they should clash against each other. But no other fucking weapon in the universe should be able to, hold it back. Some stuff, okay, fine, right? I get it. Like, Beskar, great example, because then you can build that into the story. Whereas it's I feel like they're so afraid of showing any sort of dismemberment. We've had it for years. The fucking main characters have their limbs cut off. Anakin's had an arm cut off. Luke's had his fucking hand cut off. We've had a fucking Obi-Wan just slice a guy's arm off casually, and he's still a fucking hero. Like,
you've made Beskar completely null and void because, like, everyone else, like, all the Stormtrooper armor, it just like slices them across the chest.
I understand that you're a bit worried about having like dismemberment in what should be like a family brand, and you're scared about like having actual people, stormtroopers, actual real people being like sliced into bits by lightsabers. Never mind whether it's accurate or not. I can understand you wanting to avoid that. But there's zombies in this. There's a whole thing where there's zombie stormtroopers. As soon as that happened, I thought, let's go. Like, this is where we're gonna finally see some fucking dismemberment. Stormtrooper zombies. It's perfect because they're dead. They're already dead. They're not real. They're whatever. They're whatever. Yeah, we don't see anything. It like bounces off them like baseball bats. I want to see a lightsaber cut through things, especially stormtrooper armor. Like,
it's kind of crazy that we saw Sabine get stabbed with a lightsaber. Thinking about it,
yeah, she got fucking.
It's
stabbed.
mad they showed that. Yeah,
but they didn't do anything with the stormtroopers. Like, again, it's like the zombie stormtroopers. The great thing about that is you can be slicing the arms off and fucking.
Yeah.
That could have redeemed.
It could have been amazing
honestly.
visuals. You could have had the corridor scene when they're storming through the corridors, having them cut arms off and them still be walking.
How amazing is that? You're not going to have many opportunities to do zombies in Star Wars. Make it fucking good. Make it a little bit gruesome because they're zombies and you can get away with it. Don't be fucking shy about it. Stop making the lightsabers baseball bats. Honestly, it makes them so much more boring as a weapon. They should feel dangerous. When someone whips out a lightsaber, I want to feel like, oh shit. Because that's what it used to feel like in the prequels and stuff. Like, if someone got a lightsaber out, it's like, this means business. That touches anything, that's getting fucking sliced off.
Burned.
But with in the last few years, it's like, someone whips out a lightsaber and I'm like, oh cool, there's a fight coming, or it's gonna bounce off someone and knock them out or some shit. It's like, come on, it's not a cricket bat. It's a fucking light blade. It cuts through giant metal doors in the prequels. Why the fuck can we not cut through stormtrooper armor in this?
Let's talk about the characters. Let's break down.
Let's talk about something that I can defend.
Let's talk about something I actually enjoyed. Let's talk about characters. Let's talk about casting. Let's talk about... So, Rosario Dawson obviously seen as Ahsoka before.
Casting's sublime, I'll give you that. Casting's great.
Like, amazing. So, the Rebels cast is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Can I just put this out there now?
Yeah, very good.
Fucking phenomenal. Ezra Bridger, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, the actor.
He's great.
Genuinely perfect casting. I know you have an issue with the contact lens thing with the eyes, which doesn't really bother me. I'm not that bothered by.
It's not a huge problem, but I feel like when you notice it, you can't unnotice it. When you see the scenes with Ezra, and they've given him these bright, like neon blue, fan. These bright neon blue like contact lenses to make his eyes just pop. It's just a bit like, I don't know. It's a bit odd. And I feel like it isn't needed, especially in like a human character. It sort of feels very out of place. Like on an alien, it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But with that, I'm like, I don't know if we needed that, to be honest.
Yeah. We've got...
But yeah.
Balin and Shin.
Yeah, great.
Who
great characters.
I think are two of the greatest additions. I think... honestly, like, Balin Skull, I think, is probably up there with like Khmer as an addition to the franchise. Like, obviously, I know the actor passed away, but I would still like them to continue his story.
No, 100%.
Because
I think they should.
His thing with the father, the son, and the thingy, that shit was such a phenomenal and beat.
Yeah, I know, but again, it's one shot.
Yeah, but how? But you can't. What? Yeah, it's one shot.
You're getting excited at the promise of something more when we had
I'm sorry,
of nothing to build up to it. That's my problem.
What? How am I being criticized for being excited about a shot? I'm not being funny. Luke Skywalker's in one shot in Force Awakens, and everyone was like, "This is the fucking greatest shit ever." Like,
yeah, but the whole film I feel like the film earns that. That's the difference, because the whole film is about that. The Mortis gods and the promise of that is barely referenced at all, if not at all. There's a sort of light...
It's teased a lot.
the idea of a mystery box is teased. He talks about like, oh, there's a greater purpose, or all this sort of like mystery bollocks. But in Force Awakens, like, it is at least talked about that Luke Skywalker is missing, and he is the focal point of the film, finding the map to Luke Skywalker. So seeing that shot of him, yeah, it's payoff to the whole film's worth of development. I don't think him standing on the Mortis God statue is a payoff to the whole series of development.
I don't think
Ahsoka.
it has to be, but.
Doesn't have to be. But what I'm saying is,
payoff. Like it,
what I'm saying is, if that's his, I know
it doesn't have. But yeah, but it doesn't have to be. Like I understand what you're saying. It's like there's not there's not a lot. Like if that's what he's searching for in the whole thing, there's not a lot. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be payoff. It can be set up. Which
no, that's fine. No, that I appreciate the setup, but what I'm saying is like that is not what I take from those characters. I'm like, okay, I love their introduction. When they almost gave like a little Phantom Menace switch around with the sort of master and apprentice kind of like sort of like a diplomatic kind of meeting on like a spacecraft in the New Republic, and then they just kind of slash it all up. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like reverse of like Phantom Menace. That was kind of sick. He was giving kind of Qui-Gon Jinn vibes.
Very sick.
Yeah, I like that. It's cool. That's all good. But like, I just don't know. Like, I think it's confused. I think if his goal was always to find like the Mortis gods, or to find some sort of pathway to that greater purpose, and alongside that he needs Thrawn for that, it would make sense. But there is no reason why he's so like dedicated to this cause of finding Thrawn, following his commands, to then just fuck off and do his own thing. When it's like, that would have been... It's great setup, but what I'm saying is that's not what he was doing for 8 episodes, so why should I be excited for the next?
Is that not the thing, though, where he has the calling to the further galaxy, and he knows to get to the further galaxy, he has to work with... what's her name?
But when he gets there, he's just kind of fucking about. I don't know. I guess to an extent that's true. I just think the way it's kept deliberately vague is kind of a little bit annoying, and I think his apprentice... She doesn't really get what he's on about either, so why would she be as invested in this, and why is she taking everything so personally? I don't really know.
Because I guess it's ulterior motive, isn't it?
He ditches her anyway. It's kind of like...
That's true.
It's like, I don't know, it's kind of a bit... I don't know. But what I'm saying is, it's like, I appreciate the setup. I like where it started. I like the characters. I actually do love these characters. Some of the best things about the series with these two characters.
Yeah, 100%.
But...
Balin's one of the best things about the series.
From a story perspective, I just wish they'd taken a little bit more time to flesh out why he's doing these things and give him more character, because it was a really promising start. But as soon as they like shifted to that other galaxy, it was like they just kind of stood around, got in a couple of lightsaber fights, and then was like, oh, this is what's coming next. It's like, no, make it part of the show. He's a main character. Let him
I fully
do his
appreciate
thing.
That
and that's what I'm saying. It's about development.
I fully appreciate that when they move to the second, like the other galaxy, they have like the one fight in the village, and then Balin disappears for half an episode, and then the two like post-credit scenes are him and like them in two different places.
But how many episodes are actually set in that other universe? It's not 2. It's more than 2. I could guarantee it is.
Well, what's the hit? No, because there's a full Hayden Christensen episode.
Oh no, it's 3. It's 3.
It's 3. So it's 5 the Hayden Christensen episode. Yeah. 6 is the map going to the galaxy. 7 is Ezra. 8 is the finale. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, fair enough then. I thought it was more of a half and half situation. But then that just begs the question of what the fuck happened in the first half of the series? Because that's what I mostly remember, is all the stuff on the galaxy stuff.
Yeah.
In the other galaxy. We've got 4 episodes which take place before any of that.
Can I have it? Oh, I'm not looking at Disney Plus, am I? I'm on my phone though. I'm gonna pull it up.
Nah, I have my issues with that, and I just feel like they could have done more with it. And I get that's fine. I like the Sabine Wren stuff. I like the stuff with Hera.
What do you think of Sabine's Force sensitive stuff?
I like it. Don't care. I don't really. I'm not bothered either way.
I like
I like that she's trained somewhat, but again, it's like.
I like I know. Well, when it first was like happened, I knew, like people were. My guess was people were going to be on the fence, but I quite like that anyone can become. The Force sensitive stuff isn't you are born Force sensitive or you are not.
Yeah.
Everyone's attuned to it, but some people are just born more attuned to it.
Yeah,
which I quite like.
I'm happy with that. That's fine. Like, I don't have any issues with that. I've always been kind of actually quite a bit of a fan of the whole midichlorian thing. I quite like that. As much as that's not a very popular thing for Star Wars fans, I quite like that it's not about like royal blood. It's a it's a whole. It's like you have different levels of it. Everyone's on a sort of spectrum of force ability, and it's whether it's untapped or whatever. No, I think it's interesting. Again, my issue with it just kind of feels a little bit. It feels kind of weirdly tacked on. I watched all of Rebels and I was a little bit lost at the beginning of this series as to what was going on with her character. Like there was sort of with something like Star Wars where it's so fleshed out, and we have like this is a direct sequel to Rebels. Basically, there feels like there's a lot of context and almost maybe an interesting story that was cut out of there. That was sort of like, oh, well, last time they saw each other, they were mates, and now, they've already trained together, fallen out, and have like some sort of long-term beef. I don't know if that feels right. I don't know. It just feels a bit tacked on. I think it's tricky, especially like it's fine for me. I've watched Rebels, right? But for a new audience member, like how would that fare? You're trying to watch something and be trailed in, but you're you're missing the content.
For the existing fans, like.
But what I'm saying is like you couldn't. They could go, okay, I understand that, but then they try and go back and watch Rebels, and it actually doesn't have the context that this show needs in certain areas. Some stuff, yes. Some stuff, no. And I just think I don't know, it's odd. It's odd to me. I like certain elements, though. But, feel free. I love the Anakin Skywalker.
The lightsaber fights are fucking incredible in this show.
Not as good as Acolyte, but yes.
Well, yeah, fucking, no, they're not. Not as good as the one in Acolyte.
The one?
The main one?
I'd say all of the fights in Acolyte clear anything else Disney has done for years.
Well, but I can't really name bar the one main lightsaber fight.
Which one are you thinking of? The one in the woods?
Premiere, yeah.
Right. What about the one in the finale where I can't remember. Saul is like force pushes away 2 bits of lightsaber behind the guy.
That's fair.
That whole lightsaber fight. What about the one at the beginning of the series where it was throwing knives versus lightsaber?
That was cool, but that's not actually a lightsaber fight.
It is. It involves a lightsaber, and it's a fight.
It's a fight involving a lightsaber. No, I agree. I still think the lightsaber fights are very good, though.
What about the scene in season 2 of Acolyte where Darth Plagueis has a fight with Master Yoda? Oh wait, we're never gonna fucking see that. Thanks, right-wing grifters. You guys are great.
I do think the fight when they get the map with Balin and Ahsoka is really good. I like the more brutal. Balin takes a more brutal approach, which I very much like.
Yeah, I love that about it. I agree. It's giving like Jedi Fallen Survivor, where he's got like the heavy blade and he's whoosh, like proper really hitting it. Yeah, it's great. Did you like the mystery of the the oh my god, the Inquisitor with no name who just was a giant fart? Do you like that mystery?
I really wish it had been someone.
Yeah.
But then again,
all the theories of who's it gonna be, and it just was the fart.
The amount of names I got thrown out. The crazy thing is though, they did this, and one of the theories was that it was gonna be what's her name who got Ahsoka kicked out of the Order, and then a month later or 2 months later, they announced Tales of the Empire with her as an Inquisitor. Yeah, which made me laugh.
They could have done something with that, and that would have been interesting. Yeah, some theories are always batshit. It's like it is what it is, but that was a very, very much a clear tease and very unsatisfying conclusion, I think. To just
that fight was cool as well. That fight was very cool.
That was cool. I'll give you that. That was cool.
Can we please talk about Hayden Christensen?
Of course we can, because that's the only bit of the series where I was like, that's good.
Hang on, this is a backtrack.
What do you mean?
This is a fucking backtrack. Fucking when we start this podcast, episode 2, we have a dispute of why you don't like the Hayden Christensen stuff.
I do. I don't love it, but I think it's some of the best.
We have logs. I will pull up the receipts.
What did I say? Tell me what I said. Then I'll back it up.
This argument started on the podcast because we had a dispute about I liking the Hayden Christensen stuff and you not liking it. That's how this whole thing came about.
Right. Editing Cooper, hold up. I'm pulling up the receipts. I want to know exactly what shit I said before you try and put words in my mouth and try and give me shit. I'm certain
this argument started because in episode 2, when we teased about Ahsoka, you talk about why you don't like the Hayden Christensen stuff and how it's just like shoehorned in.
It kind of is.
season.
It kind of is, though.
Bro's backtracking all over the place.
Bro kind of cooked with that one. I can't lie. I haven't
almost a year ago.
I can't skip through a fucking.
You can't go through an hour-long episode.
I can't. No. Oh, I heard Thrawn. Hang on.
Oh. This is how this whole argument started. I'm leaving this all in, by the way. This is all staying in if you've gone through an old episode. This is 100% saying it. This is...
I'm trying to work out what I'm waffling about.
I have... I'm sure it was about Ahsoka, because I'm sure that's how this argument started. And we were like,
I'm talking about CGI faces. Yeah.
We literally said one day we will do an Ahsoka episode. I will talk about the Hayden Christensen stuff. The Hayden Christensen stuff is...
I'll tell you what, fuck it. I can't find it. You tell me what you think I said, and I'll back it up.
I'm certain you weren't a fan of the Hayden Christensen stuff. I'm sure you
For what reason did I give?
I'm pretty sure... It was either shoehorned, or you just said it was just too heavy nostalgia and it had nothing to do with the story. Which
what? No, go on. What were you going to say?
Is fucking incorrect. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, bollocks. You knew it's true. Because it is. Look, This is my dilemma with it, right? My fan brain, who likes a little bit of nostalgia, I was all like, oh yeah, gimme. In the same way that I watch Rise of Skywalker and I'm like, this is fucking sick, seeing Palpatine again. Oh my god, he said do it. But I hate the actual film. But I like the scenes where it's like, once more, the Sith will rule the gods. Revenge of the Sith, anyway. You get the point. With this... I love seeing Hayden Christensen back as Anakin. Who the fuck couldn't as a Star Wars kid? I grew up with that shit. That was my childhood. Of course I love seeing Hayden Christensen as fucking Anakin. I love seeing Hayden Christensen in the Clone Wars as Anakin. I love him being evil Hayden Christensen and lightning Darth Vader. Cool shot. Great sequences. Genuinely phenomenal. I love all of that. However, in the context of the show, it doesn't have any fucking relevance. I would argue. You can add your headcanon as to how it affects Ahsoka as a character, but I do not see a difference between the way she acts before that episode and after. You can make up your own shit to make it work and make it make sense, but you cannot deny the key reason they fucking did that is because they wanted some live-action Clone Wars stuff, and they wanted to put Hayden Christensen back in the chair after doing fucking... Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? They wanted to do more Hayden Christensen stuff because people liked that in Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was a selling point for this series. They could hype around it. Put it in episode 4, episode 5. People start watching the series week in, week out, 2-episode premiere. The viewership starts to drop when they realise it's a bit shit. And then, oh, by the way, guys, Hayden Christensen's back. Come and fucking watch it. They come and watch it. It's a brilliant episode. Lots of familiar sights and sounds and colours and noises and everything. It was amazing. Really, really cool. It was fantastic seeing younger Ahsoka. It was fantastic seeing Clone Troopers, Captain Rex, all these things. Incredible. It looks insane. Hayden Christensen's performance is so much more nuanced than it was before. He's definitely improved as an actor. The character's great. I would love to see more of Hayden Christensen. However, the context within the story doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why. I don't complain because I like it, but I'm like...
I think there's an argument with the dynamic between Sabine and Ahsoka before and after. However, I'm not going to be that guy and sit here to make the argument after not seeing the show for like over a year. Because I'll keep it $150 with you right now, okay? You're saying Rise of Skywalker's a bad movie, yeah, but you can overlook it. Like, you can be like, Palpatine, good. No. What did you just say before? You were like, Palpatine. I
said I enjoy those scenes because I enjoy seeing Palpatine. I enjoy seeing Ian McDiarmid play Palpatine no matter what the project is.
I enjoy Rise of Skywalker, okay? Mm-hmm. So yeah, me too. Anything they do, the fan stuff in it does nothing for me. Whereas
there's a line though. Hang on.
Ahsoka, I can overlook. Okay, see no evil, hear no evil. Okay,
that's not how this works.
This is how this works. This is how this works.
You're just putting fucking words in my mouth. You're drawing conclusions that aren't there, brother. Hang on. I'll let you cook, and then I'll cook you right back. Go on.
What I'm saying is, there is a certain level of nostalgia that I can overlook and make bullshit excuses in my head for. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm telling you,
Sabine's relationship and Ahsoka's relationship before and after, I think it does play a point because it's all about Master and Apprentice. It's all about that dynamic. It's about the dynamic between Anakin and Ahsoka and how it is somewhat reflected in well, it's somewhat attempted to reflect in Sabine and Ahsoka. It's not exactly the same. Do I think Sabine should be Ahsoka's apprentice? No, I'm not the biggest fan of the Ahsoka Sabine apprentice kind of situation.
Stop trailing away. You're trailing
away.
I'm not.
Anakin. No, I'm coming back. No,
okay,
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming full circle. What I'm saying is, I can see what they are going for. I can see that it is to do with the master and apprentice thing. I can see they're trying to fix the relationship for the future because they're going. I can imagine Ahsoka and Sabine are going to be quite pivotal parts in this end of the Filoniverse, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I can justify this more because cool Hayden Christensen Clone Wars and Ariana Greenblatt's amazing, and we get some incredible fighting scenes
I'm not denying
in there. Amazing choreographed scenes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Bro, the greatest cinematography in the whole thing is in this one episode. They spent most of the budget on this one episode. Clone Troopers, all that shit,
I agree. It's pretty good. I'm not saying that it's
That's
not
why I
good.
said see no evil, hear no evil.
Right? This is what I'm saying. Is the comparison to Rise of Skywalker is crazy, first of all, because I hate that shit. I'm not saying I overlook it because I enjoy the Palpatine scenes. I'm saying I enjoy seeing Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, but it doesn't make the rest of the film good. In the same way that I enjoy seeing Hayden Christensen as Anakin in these Clone Wars scenes, but it does not make the series good. That's what
I
I'm
enjoy
saying.
the rest of the series, so it just adds to it. Oh, but the one thing I don't like is I got that fucking thing spoiled, so fuck the person on Twitter whoever spoiled that for me.
That's crazy, yeah. That is so funny.
The worst thing about that situation is I sat down to watch the episode and got interrupted and was like, I'll watch it later on, and opened Twitter and it's the first thing that came up.
You shouldn't have opened Twitter.
So,
that's your own mistake, really. You got to stay away from it.
Bro, I didn't think Hayden Christensen was going to be in that episode.
Oh, you didn't think Hayden Christensen would be in the Ahsoka series?
No, I used to be in the series. I'm not being funny, but the start of that episode, do you really think Hayden Christensen's going to be in that episode?
It was episode 5 of 8.
That is true.
And he appeared in that. He appeared in every episode since.
I thought he was going to be Force Ghost more than anything. So
yeah, that's true.
He's at the end, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh no, in episode 4 he was at the end. That's right.
Yeah, it's end of episode 4
that's
when
right,
she's in the World Between Worlds. World Between Worlds, sick by the way.
Yeah.
Love that shit. What's his name? Is it Jason? Is that the kid's name?
Jason.
Jason. I'm glad they didn't forget about Jason. Mm-hmm. I was really worried that they were going to forget about Jason. Again, good casting. I think it looks pretty cool. I know the green hair was like, I don't know whether it was CG'd or dyed. I couldn't really tell, but it looks slightly He has green hair in it. Jason has green hair.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if that was.
But it's like the brownish green because obviously it's like. It's the same Thrawn argument.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's
he
like,
does.
Thrawn
He does
doesn't
have
look
green
good in
hair.
the live action, but.
No, you're right. I was just double checking because I was like, I don't actually remember him having green hair.
Would you rather have had a full CGI Thrawn?
No, I don't want a full CGI.
No.
In what sense?
I'm not saying. I'm not putting
this
words in your mouth, but I'm saying like because it's. I know that some of the arguments were the Thrawn doesn't really look very good. It was the same with the Grand Inquisitor. Grand Inquisitor is a different situation.
Well, the Grand Inquisitor is a different.
That's a completely different situation
because that is lazy as fuck. But
yeah,
we can get onto that another time. Yeah, no, I think the best thing about it is that it's you do one thing or another with this, right?
Yeah.
The thing that makes this distinct is you either choose to make it as accurate to the Rebels visuals as possible, or you hire the original actor and do as best you can because the actor is important, not the
I'm so much happy that they've hired the
and Lars Mikkelsen is an incredible actor who kills it as Thrawn. So I'm so glad he came back, and I'm so glad they did that. Now, okay, he might not look exactly like the Thrawn you remember, but you can also excuse the fact that he's been in a different galaxy for God knows how long, probably like 10 years, right? So he's gonna be older, and he's gonna look different. I do wish they had made certain small amendments, whether it be in practical, like hair and makeup, or with some CGI to make him look ever so slightly more like the Thrawn we know, just because I feel like
more bony.
More bony. Kind of like a longer head, maybe. Like it sort of make it more closer to what we remember from Rebels. But the Grand Inquisitor is a different thing. That is a different actor. That's a different actor in makeup that doesn't reflect the species that we've already seen in Star Wars in Revenge of the Sith done better. So no. Different situation. Thrawn, I don't love his look in this, but I accept it because it's Lars Mikkelsen, and I'd rather that than some fucking guy pretending to be like being Thrawn, because it just wouldn't hit the same. The voice, that's what hits. And I think
it is 100%.
That is unmistakably Thrawn.
I think what you were saying with like but you seem with Thrawn, the issues you were saying, like, oh, he doesn't like feel as powerful, like the aura isn't kind of fully there. Can you imagine if it hadn't have been Lars Mikkelsen?
Yeah, I don't know, but then I don't know. You just don't know, do you? I don't know if that would have hit harder or not, but I'm glad it's Lars Mikkelsen. But if it wasn't, I don't know. Could it have been?
I think the voice is the most iconic thing about.
I can make the same argument with things like Solo and stuff. Like I love the recast. I don't want. We've talked about this before, but I don't want CGI faces and deep fake voices to be playing iconic characters. If it's between that and casting a new actor, I'd rather cast a new actor. So maybe a new actor could have done a good job with Thrawn here and would have been good for the next few years. I don't know, but I'm also delighted that Lars Mikkelsen is playing him because he is Thrawn, right? Like that's. Yeah.
Do you remember being at Star Wars Celebration when they showed the trailer?
I do.
In the crowd.
I do. And we didn't get to see Thrawn, did we? Because they showed a different trailer behind in the closed thing than what we saw.
No, the one that we saw was it not the back? Thrawn. Did it not show the back of him?
Back of him. It was the first trailer. Yeah. But we didn't get to see Thrawn until
no.
But it was shown on another panel.
Yeah.
When they announced him.
I remember the hype in the crowd though when they just showed the back of him. Like
yeah, that was crazy. But it's that feeling, isn't it? It's like I just feel like there was a lot of hype towards this, and I don't know.
They are doing a second season.
Yeah, they are, and I hope it's better.
But of the Forgotten Waters.
Yeah, I'm also I'm happy that they. I don't know, the whole like Night Sisters thing as well is kind of weird.
See, I disagree with this. I'm so happy they've done the Night Sisters stuff. I'm not being funny. That writing of killing off all the Night Sisters was so poor. Like, you have thrown away so much cool shit by killing off the Night Sisters. Like,
yeah, I agree
understand
with that.
It's a bit strange being like, I understand it's a bit strange being like, oh, the Night Sisters are from a different universe. But at the same time, it's like, I'd rather them do that than do some horse shit of reviving like the Night Sisters. And
no,
stuff
I'm not
like
saying that. I just think the Night Sisters have been done better in different media. I feel like I was quite bored by them in this series, but it's fine. Like, it is what it is. I also like Morgan Elsbeth, and I like the kind of retcon. I feel it was a retcon. I don't think she was ever intended to be in The Mandalorian, a Night Sister, but I kind of like that she is in this.
I don't know, actually.
It's not made clear, at least.
I guess she's not. She doesn't use magic in The Mandalorian, does she?
A little bit of a retcon, but I'm happy with it because it's a good one, and she's a great actress. I like that. I just don't.
Dathomir.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Dathomir. I'm excited by prospects. I didn't mind seeing C-3PO in this series. I love seeing the New Republic stuff. I love seeing Christ, what's her name? Is Mon Mothma. Like, I love seeing Genevieve O'Reilly. Yeah, she's in Andor. She's in all sorts, and she's in Rogue One as well. So it's great to see her back in this, and it's great to see her reprise that role in different generations of Star Wars.
Yeah, of the character.
That's why I love. And that's great. I'm just like, I don't know. There's some stuff where I'm like, I mean, give me another thing that you like about it, and I'm happy to give my opinion. I think there's stuff that I like about this series. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I just think it's the one I really struggle to go.
Fuck off! Do you think Mando season 3 is better than this?
No. But overall, as an overall package, I don't know.
Really? Oh, wait, you're talking about Mando as a whole? What have I enjoyed less than
Mando?
Ahsoka?
Go on, tell me.
Does Boba Fett count?
I guess Boba Fett counts as separate, but I don't know if I actually enjoy elements of Boba Fett more. It's not perfect, sure, but I don't know if I don't know. I don't know,
That's the thing
man.
with
It's hard to tell. I think with Boba Fett, it's sort of... I really
Ahsoka's
enjoyed it.
It's just all nostalgia for me, though. Like, that's my issue.
Yeah.
It's
not an issue, though. You enjoyed it. I didn't.
It's
That's
hard
fine.
Carried by
and
us.
maybe when I rewatch it, I'll really enjoy it and love it. But I don't know for sure, man. Visions doesn't count. Visions.
You talk live action. Obi-Wan. Ahsoka or Obi-Wan?
Yeah, Ahsoka. Fair enough. Yeah, Ahsoka's better than that. I was disappointed with Obi-Wan, to be honest. That was relying heavily on nostalgia. If it wasn't for that, it would have fallen apart. It wasn't very good.
Bro, deadass. I think Acolyte might be number 1 for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it probably is. Shame some people got it cancelled, but it's all right. What else sort of stands up for you in this series in terms of like?
I think
what else would you?
I like the I know we aren't a fan of the new visuals and stuff. These ones feel a little bit different to the ones that were in. Obviously, bar the practicality of.
I prefer Acolyte. I think is the best interpretation of it. Do you know what I think?
Well,
I think
new technology invented for. It's brand new technology
I think
for
what disappoints
Acolyte.
me the most, it was, I'm glad they've cracked it. For me, I think the thing I struggle with is it's sort of, I don't think it's the most visually interesting series personally, and that might be a bit of a hot take. But I look at I'll send you an image from the first episode. It's like, it's like grey on grey on grey on grey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, and even in the World Beyond Worlds or whatever, that's. It's like dark on sort of light blue, and it's kind of like it is. It's got an aesthetic, but even then, it's like it's not strong and sort of it's a bit desaturated a little bit. And I'm like, it's okay, but it looks a little bit raw. You could have color graded that a little bit differently. I don't know. I just think that's something that I remember from the series, and I think it doesn't help because a lot of Ahsoka's sort of headpiece is white, and her outfit's quite grey. So if you put her on grey white backgrounds, it will look quite a visually bland shot, unless you made the red of her skin brighter. But they didn't. They made it they made it paler, more like realistic human skin,
the dark, like a dark. It's more like a burnt orange, isn't it, than the standard like that orange.
Yeah.
That's what it's typically
I don't know if
is,
it should be brighter. I'm not saying that or whatever, but I'm more just thinking visually. Yeah, I just think there's certain things. I'm trying to remind myself of other things that I'm not too keen on. I don't love in the flashback bits. I don't love that we see smoke everywhere, kind of concealing some of the bigger special effects. But I don't. I get why they do it.
Are you talking about with the Hayden Christensen stuff?
Yeah. Whenever they do
we
flashbacks.
know exactly why they did this. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's budget, right? But it's again, I'll send you images to sort of back me up here. It's they hide stuff in the background, so it's easier to kind of cover.
Yeah.
But again, that's probably the most cinematographically beautiful episode. That is
that
great.
Episode, that's what I'm saying. They've got the best cinematography of the show. Is that episode? They've clearly, not saying that they haven't taken it into account, but that episode you can tell they've taken extra care to do it well, and with the 100%. Haze and with all that 100%. Kind of stuff. And it's with the lightning strike that you were talking about for the flash, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't really have many more things to say about Ahsoka. But I think it's my detest for it isn't out of a place of wanting to shit on it. It's out of a place of I really, really wanted to like this, and it just didn't quite click. And then I don't know. I feel like when I don't enjoy something, I want to be able to vocalize it in a fair way. Not just shit on it for the sake of it, but sort of go, I didn't like this, and I really wish they wouldn't do that, because the more shit stuff that gets encouraged, the more likely we are to get poor projects in the future and bad decisions. And I worry in the wake of Acolyte Season 2 being cancelled and Star Wars Episodes 10, 11 and 12 being greenlit, that we are making the wrong decisions and praising the wrong projects. And I think Ahsoka is fine. We should get a second season. We will get a second season. I'd love it to lead into the film and stuff. That would be great.
I think it
will. I feel I just don't know. I feel do you feel Ahsoka's character is on par here with the animated stuff?
It's a hard one. It's a very much a hard one. This is a massive argument that I've seen people do.
I would argue she's boring in this series. I don't think she's got the charisma needed that Ahsoka
I think she has. I think at times she still has the charisma and charm, but she is too... To me, she's too by the... How the fuck am I the one supposed to be defending this series? She is too by the system, if that makes sense. She, to me at times, which again, I think comes that master and apprentice thing. It's she's a bit you can see the Anakin in her when Anakin was a bit more stern and a bit more firm. Yeah. But I think she's gone too far one way, if that makes sense.
I just feel
the greatest iteration of Ahsoka is the Clone Wars, end of Clone Wars era of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And 100%. The Rebels kind of era. The Rebels kind of era is, again, the bridge in between where she's too Master, she's too Jedi Master, she's too Yoda, Qui-Gon, stern.
She shouldn't be, though. That's not... that's the thing, is I think Ahsoka was broken off from that. She's not supposed to be a Jedi. She's not. That's the whole thing. And I just feel they got that slightly wrong.
But then at times she still has that at times she still has the charisma and that what, like, this, not slyness, like the cheekiness at times. There's a few lines in it where I was like, yeah, that feels like, and again, there was moments in the show I was like, this doesn't feel like original Ahsoka. But then again, you have to think how many years it's been.
Do you feel like with Ahsoka's character, it feels like it was written by Dave Filoni?
Yes, it still does.
See, I feel indifferent. I feel like my association with Ahsoka is a lot of it is very like stern-faced and standing with her arms crossed in the corner of a scene. That's kind of how I see a lot of it. If you're doing it in the t-shirt.
No arms crossed, just the face. No, okay. But this is Rebels Ahsoka. Like,
yeah, but I actually almost feel like I got more emotion from like the Rebels stuff than I did from this here. Like when she saw Hayden Christensen's Anakin, like that should have been way more emotional for her, and she was like kind of playing it relatively cool. And I'm like, that should be a surreal, insane experience that she is not. She's not seen Anakin. She hasn't seen him, and she saw him like. The implication of him in Rebels, as soon as you saw him through the Darth Vader mask, shook to the core, like broken, emotional. This should be a very confusing and difficult thing. She kind of reverted back into being an apprentice, and that's an acceptable reaction that I like. But I do look at that and think, I want more emotion. I want to care more about Ahsoka, and I felt like I actually cared less about Ahsoka in this series than I have done in any Star Wars project, and I think that is down to her. Not the performance, because I think Rosario Dawson is great, but I think the direction and the writing, something got mixed up where she became a Jedi Master and not Ahsoka. She's not a Jedi. She's not a Jedi.
She's not a Jedi, but has gone to Jedi. If that makes sense, she feels too much like part of the Council, like a Mace Windu, like a Yoda, like a a bit like how Obi-Wan was at the in Revenge of the Sith, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm not like it's a tricky one. What other sort of points do you want to make about this series? Now you've got a chance to throw them my way. I mean, challenge me because I feel like I've challenged you on points.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I definitely want to rewatch it 100%.
Me too.
Because I think when I rewatch it, I think I will still very much enjoy it. Because again, it comes from a sense of nostalgia. Like there are so many things. Like what you're saying, I can't really remember a lot from the first few episodes because it's a lot of chase. But I still quite like the visuals. Like, I love the intro when she throws the lightsabers down and does the circle. That's very Ahsoka. And drops down. I love all the Dathomir stuff. I love the Night Sister stuff. And again, it feels very much like a setup series, which is a shame in a sense. But at the same time, I can kind of overlook it until Ahsoka Season 2 comes out. And then if Ahsoka Season 2 is shit,
but if I told you a few years ago and I said that, this Ahsoka live-action series is going to be effectively set up for another series or a film, how would you feel about that?
I don't know.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because I feel like you'd still be like, oh, that's cool, but I think you'd be disappointed to hear that, personally. I feel like if I knew it was going to be more of a setup, I'd probably be able to manage my expectations. But I expected it to be grand and amazing. Yeah. Grand Admiral Thrawn, Anakin Skywalker's going to be in it. Fucking all these Rebels characters we're going to see again. I was so excited, and I still enjoyed those aspects of it. But I was just disappointed by the story. I think the story let it down. We've had some incredible Star Wars content, and some incredible character moments for Ahsoka. I was so disappointed that her first main live-action solo project ended up being as kind of by the numbers as it could have been. Like, it felt very much a little bit like Boba Fett in a way, where it's like, it feels like it's just setting up something else, as opposed to...
Do you think they should have just left Ahsoka and had her as more of a cameo character than an actual main TV show character?
Yes.
Do you think so? Like how...
I think this should have almost not been called Ahsoka. I think this should have been called something different and been bigger than her, because the show is bigger than Ahsoka. It's more about
it's more like the Rebels cast than it is about Ahsoka.
Yeah, it is more about the Rebels cast, and it's like it's about the hunt for Ezra.
Well, that's what everyone says.
It's about the New Republic falling apart a little bit as well.
Yeah,
and it's setting up the sequels. It's setting up the heir to the Empire stuff, and I love that. But it's cool. Well, I'm happy with that. I feel like I've said my piece.
Don't get me wrong, I've been criticising it and stuff, but it comes out of a place of endearment. Like,
100%.
It's and I said this before, if you told freaking 10, 11-year-old me that we'd have an Ahsoka TV show, live-action TV show, I never would have believed you. The fucking, when she was in Mando, I never would have believed it. And I still loved it, but there's, for me, the Ahsoka TV show, there are other standout moments that aren't Ahsoka. Like,
Yeah.
my most silent moments aren't with Ahsoka, if that makes sense.
Mm.
It's still great to see her. The white lightsabers from live action, love it.
Yeah.
Always will. I love her aesthetic. I love like but what we were saying before about how she's written, she's supposed to be like the Shogun style, like Wanderer kind of style.
Yeah.
But she feels like a Jedi. But then I guess you could make the argument, apprentice, she has to be. It's a hard situation because I think, again, it kind of comes down to a lot of the Star Wars story because we still, after all these fucking years, haven't got an in-between. Like,
Yeah.
they still don't know how to write a Jedi who's kind of on the fence.
Yeah.
Not on the fence, but like, obviously Ahsoka leans more towards the light side, definitely. But she
For
feels
most of her life,
far
she
over.
hasn't been a Jedi, so why would she fall into those routines when that was what expelled her from the Order? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I feel like we'll probably touch on it again, but it was good to sort of have a little bit of a back and forward on this. And I feel like, again, with Star Wars stuff, I'm excited in future to kind of go through these sorts of things and kind of discuss this. And I'm so excited for future Star Wars projects. I was thinking I'd love to actually go through
soon.
and Skeleton Crew is soon, and I think it'll be the
December.
first. It'll be the first Star Wars show on Nostalgia. I think that we'll actually be able to properly review as it's coming out. I feel like we did it with Acolyte a little bit, but not.
Acolyte we spoke about just before it came out, and then as it finished, we were saying how amazing it was, and then it got cancelled, and then we haven't shut up about it being cancelled.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it's something we can talk about with Skeleton Crew as well, and any sort of future projects. I'd love to go back and review some films as well. I'd love to have. I think we'll probably talk about
done the rankings, didn't we? The very
rankings, and we've reviewed trilogies and stuff. It would be lovely, I think, to rewatch some of the Star Wars films and have a whole episode dedicated to that. So if you're listening and you want to see us kind of really break down an individual film over a podcast episode, then do let us know, because that's something we'd definitely be interested in as two massive Star Wars fans. Are you happy to move to Just News?
I am happy to move to Just News, George.
Lovely. So, and this week's Just News article, I was really struggling to find something. You know this. I was really struggling to find something good. I was struggling for a little while. I went on website after website after website, and then I came across a headline that really made me laugh. And this either will be complete shit, no pun intended, or it will be a Just News all-timer, possibly. Dare I say it. So, you know what? You've been on holiday before, Cooper.
Yeah, I've been on holiday before. Yeah.
Where are some of the best places you've been?
I've been to Malaysia. I've been to Portugal, Ibiza. I've been skiing quite a lot. I've done all the cold holidays. Malaysia's definitely the best place I've ever been on holiday, without a doubt.
Yeah. Have you ever had any sort of crazy stories out there? That's something that really is quite embarrassing. Do you think? You don't have to tell us. You just say yes or no.
I have. Not embarrassing, but I've had some crazy stories before.
Well, I wonder if you've had a story quite as embarrassing as this fella here. The headline reads, "Naked British tourist falls from balcony in Thailand covered in poo."
Okay. This has never happened to me.
There are photos. A naked British tourist had to be rescued after falling from a hotel balcony while covered in poo in Thailand's Sin City. Really speaking for the name there, aren't we? The man was said to be extremely drunk when he returned to his room in Pattaya's red light district in the early hours of the morning. You dirty, dirty bastard. And I'm not just talking about shit.
In multiple ways.
Groans and banging was later heard coming from the 51-year-old's room at the Freelancer Hotel, but staff thought nothing of it. I suppose in the red light district, you wouldn't think anything of groans and banging. It was only when his leg crashed through the ceiling of an adjacent internet cafe after he plunged from the balcony that they realised something was amiss. That's the level, isn't it?
Imagine sitting playing your League of Legends and you see a naked man come tumbling down.
Imagine you're just trying to have, like a drink or something, or like a cafe. You're just sat there. You're trying to, just like you go there, some recreational, just middle of the day. You're like, it's just a normal croissant. I wanted a fucking hazelnut spread croissant. No, never mind. It's fine. because it crashed to the fucking ceiling. That's great. And the photo was great as well. Just the singular
The
leg.
face is amazing.
The singular leg. Have you seen that photo?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Shocked gamers.
That was literally right.
Shocked gamers called police as the naked holidaymaker, believed to be from Blackburn, cried for help with his legs dangling from the floorboards. Subsequent pictures showed him being guided to an ambulance while covered up in a blanket. He was taken to hospital with minor injuries and to sober up. I mean, crazy that he managed to... I don't know if it'll say here, but I'm excited to see... I'd be excited to know how the fuck he got covered in shit and then fell out of a balcony. I presume balcony.
Yeah, I assume so.
And then in
some sort of veranda.
legs through the roof of an internet cafe and survive, but not only that, minor injuries. Officers later checked his room where they discovered excrement smeared across the floor. Oh, God.
What?
Police Lieutenant Thanawi... I'm not going to try and butcher people's names, actually. That's a good shout. We have some ideas about what he was doing in his room to make it so dirty, but there was nothing illegal.
Okay.
It is his private life, so he will have to speak with the hotel to negotiate the bill. Someone witnessed the incident and said the cafe was full with about 20 people at the time. He said, I was sitting playing games downstairs when I heard the first thump. I didn't think much of it. After a while, there was another thump. The ceiling started to break more, and there were legs coming down right on my head. So I called the staff down to come and look. Could you imagine? He sat there.
Standing there like that.
He gets kicked in the head. He says, someone kicked me in the head. There's something smell of shit. And he looks up and there's a shit-covered dangling leg above him in a cafe.
Just something dripping down on the monitor.
Yeah, oh God, that's horrible. After a while, it seemed like the ceiling started to sink. Oh.
You read the next line.
I was very shocked, so I ran up to look. I smelled it, but I thought it was a broken water pipe or something. That's the end of the story. That isn't the end of the story. It's the end of the article, but that's all they could show us. That's mad.
So bad.
British tourists. That is embarrassing. Like,
that's
Jesus
so
Christ.
Bad.
Oh man.
Bro, bro's had a shitter, quite literally.
That's good. I can't think of anything funny enough to come back from that. I mean, I'm just baffled at the whole idea of the leg coming through the ceiling. It's a very
I just love the idea
image.
of someone playing League of Legends or Overwatch or something like that, and just a guy comes tumbling through the roof.
Well, they think they've got like one of those sort of motion shot controllers. It's like I thought it was fucking getting shot in Call of Duty, but it was actually someone's dangling shit covered leg. Puts you off your coffee a little bit.
Rage to a different level. Like
Bro's really breaking the glass ceiling. Anyway, that is all for today's episode of Nostalgia Bait. Thank you so much for watching and listening for the last 40 episodes. If you're new here, obviously, subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review over on Spotify. Follow us over on there as well. We're available anywhere you get your podcasts, so have a look out. Search the words Nostalgia Bait, usually followed by podcast, and you'll probably find us. Yep. We have plenty of more Star Wars content, Doctor Who content, other sort of film and media related content.
Coming up to the end of the year as well, so we've got some Christmas stuff.
We have got some crazy Christmas stuff planned,
yeah.
Which I'm very, very excited for. But we will have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah, true.
In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch more of our Star Wars episodes, you can go to our YouTube channel and look at the Star Wars playlist over on YouTube, where you can find all 6, I believe, of our Star Wars themed episodes. Ranging from talking about Acolyte, the future of Star Wars, the new trilogies, some of our awful takes, as well as a 3-hour script reading in Duel of the Fates. So if that's your kind of cup of tea, you want to sit down there and listen to that, you're more than welcome to. Thank you so much for supporting us, and here's to the next 40 episodes.
We'll see you next week.
See you later. Bye-bye.